ITSN Courtside Live, the Coaches Edition.
ITSN Courtside Live today here with Indiana Tech men's basketball coach Al Grushkin. Al, it's going to be a pretty big season this year. What are your expectations?
Well, I hope we're going to have a big season. The expectations are always something that you have, but that you can't guarantee all those things. We should be deeper than last year. We're certainly bigger than last year. We're more talented than last year. I think we have some kids that are pretty good people in the program too. I think if we play as hard as we did last year, because we played very hard last year, I think if we defend like we did last year, because we defended every single day last year, we'll be better than last year. At the same time, you have to build a chemistry. We have 9 new players on this team. So the chemistry, defending like we did, playing hard as we did last year, those 3 things are going to be critical for us to continue moving up from last year.
This is the second year here at this program. Ultimately, is it the team chemistry that was the biggest challenge that you're trying to take from last year to this year, or what you learned most from last year that you're trying to bring into this season?
Well, I don't think it's that there's a lot that you learn per se at the school. When you've got all new kids coming in, you've got a new team, so you're starting over in many ways. You've got Rodney back, who's an awfully good player, Rodney Bartholomew. Bryce Miles brings a lot of energy and plays hard every day. I think the biggest thing is you learn the level you're at. I've coached at a lot of different levels. You learn the league. You come in and you don't really know your first year, Mike, if it's if you're a good team at the NAIA level. First year I coached in Division II. I guess the second year, people told me we were a national tournament team, and I was like, yeah, right, you guys are teasing me, you know what I mean? Trying to make me feel good. So I think the biggest thing I've gained is more of an appreciation of who can compete at what level, and where we fit in terms of that.
The biggest thing I've noticed over the years in the NAIA style of game is it's a very up-tempo type game. I mean, college basketball in general is very up-tempo, but it seems like a lot of these games we see here are track meets. Is that one of the bigger challenges, is making sure you got enough depth on the bench to where they can keep handling the aggressive type, athletic type play, or how is that, and what kind of changes did you make this year to try to upkeep at that level?
Well, I think when you say track meet, we certainly want to push the ball, but last year we were not a high-scoring team. We were the number 1 defensive team in the country in terms of points allowed. We only allowed 58 points a game last year. So, one of the things we do is we try to, most of the teams, as you said, do play pretty breakneck speed. And we do a lot of pressing, and a lot of our pressing is not so much to steal the ball as just to slow you down and make you have to play against a set half-court defense. We were able to do that all year last year. I think we wound up 15th or 16th in field goal defense, 1st in scoring defense, 2nd in rebound defense because we blocked out. So that's always going to be, any time I coach a team, that's going to be what we're going to hang our hat on. Now, I do think we're going to be able to get up and down a little bit more this year than last year, again, because we do have more kids we feel can play. Depth can be very deceiving. You look at your team, you say, God, I've got great depth. It's kind of a your surgery, my surgery deal, because in the game when it's tight, will you really use the depth? You know what I mean? Number 1. Number 2, the farther you get in, you see if you really have depth or if they just happen to show it in practice. So we would like to have better depth. We'd like to push the ball more than we were able to do last year. Last year, due to being a new coach, due to only being able to bring in 2 kids at the time I got the job, we had to play a little bit slower. So I think we will up-tempo more, but we don't want to play sideline break, 80s and 90s here. We're going to be a great defensive team, hopefully again, and that's what we're going to hang our hat on.
You got a big game coming up against the Indiana University East. Who's going to be your key players, and how are the new recruits stacking up with it? And if you found a good balance yet in practice of who meshes best with who?
We think so, to a point, but we're still looking. I mean, anytime you have transfers, you've got kids that are coming to your program that have got a lot to learn. And, we teach pretty detailed stuff defensively. I don't think we're quite as detailed offensively. We try and be solid on offense. And so they've got a lot of learning to do. They've got a lot of kids this day and age who are not fundamental. Now, with my background being the place I've been, we're going to be a fundamental team. We're not going to play crazy and wild and what have you. So, we found a certain crew we think will be the starters, at least right now. We've probably got another 5 that'll mix in there. But to say that's etched in stone, will stay that way for a long period of time, it would really be difficult to say right now. I think we're going to be a little bit of a work in progress. At the same time, we're talented enough. We went down and scrimmaged Indiana Wesleyan at their place, who's picked second in the country, and we tied them in the scrimmage. So that was on their floor with MCC officials and what have you. They had 5 of their top 6 back. We have 9 new guys. So I think our whole deal is our potential, Mike, and more than anything else, what we're looking at.
With the potential, because there is no doubt that this is a very good team from what I've seen of the team so far in practices and from the scrimmage just this last week. What's going to make you satisfied at the end of the season? Or is that too far down the road? But short-term goals, long-term goals to see this season. What do you want to see out of this team?
Well, in the end, you always want to reach your potential. That's kind of a trite thing to say. But, in a way, Knight used to always talk about you're playing against yourself. And, it's like you got a kid in a classroom who is smart, and he's making a 2.2. He's nowhere close, and maybe the teacher, maybe the kid, someone's not getting enough out of him. Same thing on the court, just because you have some talent doesn't mean you're going to fulfill it. So it's always first and foremost you fulfill your potential. If we do that, that'll lead to some other goals. We'd like to think, though we're picked third, that we have an opportunity to compete for a championship in this league, and I would think if we can compete for a championship in this league and do the things we did last year all over again, we can win a few more games and put us in the national tournament. Once you get to a national tournament, if you're able to do that, then you're always, if you're realistic, the first game, you can be the number 1 seed. The first game is always a bugaboo for everybody. If you win one game, you can be the 16 seed, the 1 seed, whatever. If you win that first game, you're capable of going all the way because you get hot at tournament time. So, I think our team is capable of being in the top 3 for sure, like they pick us in this conference. I think we are capable of even winning the conference if things break our way. You've always got injuries. You've got, do you take care of your academics? Do you do everything you're supposed to do? If they do, we could certainly be a team that could make the national tournament, and that is our goal, no question.
Coach, best of luck this season. It was a pleasure to talk to you. Best of luck tonight and this season.
Thanks, Mike, and you sound like an SEC announcer to me.
It's what I try to do. Coming up next on the ITSN pregame show, we'll have more. You're listening to Courtside Live and Warrior Basketball on the Indiana Tech Sports Network.